Hello students, let's welcome back to another important session, SAP Landscape. In this session, I'm going to give a little brief about architecture, and after that subsequent slides, I'm going to explain about the how real-time landscape works for SAP projects. It's very important. So now if you look at this slide, architecture of the SAP system, we have three layers. This is already my course videos at introduction level I explained. Still, I'm just giving brief about this. So there is something called presentation layer, application layer, and database layer. Presentation layer is nothing but your GUI, SAP GUI. GUI means graphical user interface. So in local terminology, like if common man need to understand that. So basically all the end users is going to operate their requests for SAP database by using GUI. Let's take an example. If you are using one mobile app application to book a train ticket, there you'll download the app. Let's assume you're booking a rail ticket or train ticket. Then you are entering your details. That means you are presenting the details which you want as a request. Okay. From there, from your presentation layer to the request goes through application layer. Okay. So this is first you try to understand this. This is the place where you are entering the details. Okay. So this is the quantity. These many people are traveling. These many people actually wanted to go to the tour. This is my departure, this is my destination, so on. So details you are entering, either bus or train, whatever the mode of the travel. And the similar way, SAP also, if you wanted to book a sales order, if you wanted to raise a purchase order, if you want to do some financial related billing settlement, or else any PP application, whatever you take, graphical interface, that means, like, it will be in the form of buttons and usable user readily usable controls, not something like, which is not something which is not understandable by common person. But for that also, like if it is SAP, you have to give the uh, you know give the basic training how to use this application. This is graphical user interface. Okay, so this is the presentation layer. Okay, as I said that, if you want to book a ticket, in general example, you put a ticket. In the similar way, SAP also, if you want to raise a sales order, you will fill all the details, like, sold to party, ship to party, how much quantity, what kind of material you are entering, all those details, right? So it looks like, user understandable screen, that is called SAP GUI. Once you send the request, so application server, what it will do, like, if the material is accepted by your sales order, the particular document is accepted by your user, so then it is basically processing the logic and asking the database to save the request, or else sometimes take the details. Best example, for example, yesterday how many orders got created, last 10 months how many orders you have created. So we have a transaction called VA05 or VA05N. So in that, sales order overview screen, if you go there, then you can able to pull the report. Actually, that means whatever the orders created past 1 month, you are giving in between dates and you are sold to party, and for certain material or multiple materials, you will pull the data, so that, from your database. So whatever the request you are giving graphical user interface for that report through transaction code, it is a processing, and it is asking the database, give the data back to me. That's why you can see this arrows are there. So it is not always like, uh, getting the data from data based on the request what you are putting in a graphical user interface in a by processing through application server and getting the details from the database. Sometimes when you are creating certain configuration or also certain master data, Again, from whatever you are trying, again it will be processed by your application layer and it will be saved in database also. That's why it's not always upward arrows, sometimes it is below arrows also. Okay, this is one understanding you have to do it. And again, let me try to explain you what exactly it will happen. So this presentation layer is used by your end users, your super users, or else at the time of testing your consultants, and for configuration everyone is using. Application server is nothing but, like, most of the times consultants, and again, like modification in the terms of editing, like, writing programs and all those things by your technical consultants and all those things. Your application layer and database layer most of the times related to your technical consultants. Even configuration is done by functional consultants. It goes and saves it. Okay, this is all about architecture. Then you can understand like that, SAP system is like this. Now let's try to understand the landscape. This is the brief about that, how the architecture works of the SAP system. Let's go to the next slide. So we have in our architecture, like if any SAP project need to be get implemented, we have different boxes will be there. Now you got it out. What is that box? So like real project, your customer is taken by license for this project to do the configuration and customization, right? So he will buy the licenses. Okay, so let's assume you have a company called they are manufacturing the clothes. Okay, Arvind Garments, or else if you take Unilever, or else if you take, okay, any manufacturing client like Honeywell, whatever you take. So you have a development client. Development client means like all your configurations, all your technical report development, technical code related reports, and your custom reports. And there is something called RISEF. I'm going to explain you maybe next session. You try to understand this. In development client, basically we have two clients. One is golden client and another one is test client. Okay, so in development client, all functional consultants based on their requirements, if you take your for example sales and distribution consultant is there, what he has to do here. So based on his what I would say baseline configuration, like enterprise structure, how many plans are there, like plans created by your consultant, how many uh, what I would say sales organizations are there, finance consultant, how many company codes are there. So like that, base configuration. In the similar way, what kind of concept they are using, like, material determination, material listing and exclusion, or account determination. So what is the feasible functional solution for the customer? That configuration, everything done by client called golden client. For example, most of the companies it might be like 100. Some companies they will call it as 200. So that is done by the setup is done by basis consultant. Your job is that if they says that if golden client is 100 or 200, you should be very careful. Golden client is the heart for every project. Okay, whether it is implementation, whether it is support project, it is very very important. Your golden client has uh, more importance or equally importance like your business system also. What is the business system? For that, what is the client, I'm going to explain in another few minutes. Okay, this is golden client. So in golden client, who and all involves? Your end users won't involve. Your golden client involves, like, your peers, your like, functional consultants and technical consultants for client requirements mapping. This box will be used. Okay, so generally it might be in different companies they will uh, do it as a client is the highest element, right, SAP. So when you are logging in your training server also, you are keeping they are giving 800. That is most popular actually for sandbox. What is sandbox? I will explain you, don't worry. So this is the development client. Okay, now Next comes quality client. Okay, before going ahead for quality client, so development level also, you have one more client called testing client. For example, your development client is 100, they might give 200 as your development testing client. It depends on the customer interest and who is performing the project and who is setting up the system. It's not always 100, it might be 0 10 also. I have seen in my project experience, they will put the client name with some x number. So but it should not be same, like golden client, development golden client, test clients. What generally it happens, let me try to enter this. We have in landscape development client, golden client, and quality client, UAT client, production client. So I will explain you what is this pre-production and all. Okay, you can see here development test client. Okay, so see development test client. So golden client, suppose you have done a configuration for account determination. Okay, the same copy like development client is assumed that it is 100, so development test client, it might be 300. So from 100 to 300 you are doing the client copy. Okay, test client. So how you do, you have a certain process, like there is something like charm process, or else directly for through transpost request you can able to move to this. There is one transaction called SCC1. So by using this you can able to copy from your development system to this. See why golden client should be always why golden client should be always uh, shouldn't be allowed for testing, because this is the same development client used by multiple people from different modules and different technical consultants from ABAP to support your functional requirements. Okay, so then it's very very important from the system, from development client to whenever we want the testing, unit testing, if we wanted to do it, that unit testing we will do development test client, not development golden client. Generally it won't be allowed until unless it is like quite old project or something. Generally I didn't see, even older projects also, minimum you will have two clients for your customer, because no one is going to experiment with this. Next one is quality client. Okay, so once you have done the testing, you will move the changes from, again from your golden client to your quality client. Okay, from golden client to quality client you will move it. So quality client, who is going to test? So quality client, generally testing done by your testing team. In quality client you can able to do the functional testing and your integration testing. For example, if you see in SAP SD, third party sales is there. There you have an integration between your SD, and FI actually. Why? Because when you create a sales order, you are going to create purchase requisition. Once you save the sales order, after that purchase requisition will be converted into purchase order. Purchase order will be converted into Migo and Miro, and after that you are going to do order related billing. It depends, different requirements will be there. It might be automated process, or else some jobs might run. A lot of things will happen actually. Quality system, what client generally will do, client, for example, you have one project called biscuits manufacturing client is there. Okay, Parley. Okay, Parley, assume that they have given implementation project to IBM. Okay, so testing, they can give the testing that is called bidding testing. For testing support also, for implementation they can give to IBM, or else they can give to the another company called Wipro or Accenture or something like that. So that means when it is related to the same service company, then testing also will be done by the same team. Then the team will call it as in-house team if IBM is doing the same thing. Or else if they are giving to the external partner, okay, Parley is giving external partner to quality, those people, we have to make it ready the system to test it. Okay, so test like how they are going to test, what is the architecture for all these clients, what are the ticketing tools we'll have, that I'm going to discuss in another session. But now you try to concentrate what is the landscape. Now we have development client and quality client, development test client, you understood. Okay, development golden client, whenever any developer moving any object changes, or else your functional consultant doing changes, that will be moved to the test client. After testing, that testing is called unit testing, then it will move to the quality client. Quality client, basically you can do two testings by other team or the same team. You can do the end-to-end testing, functional testing or integration testing, different kinds of testings. Okay, you can able to do it. That is called quality client. After quality client, you'll move the changes to UAT system. UAT means user acceptance testing, or else sometimes we can call it as a functional testing or end user testing. In this client, generally nowadays it is happening actually past 10-15 years. So it depends on, it's always customer money, right? If you buy more licenses, then you need to pay to the SAP actually. Sometimes in your landscape you don't have this UAT client. In bigger projects you can able to find this one separately. So users trainings and the user related testing, user, like from Parley side, customers will test and they will accept it, then only your build is ready to move to your production system. Okay, so now you can see most of the times landscape you will have a development client, development test client, and quality client. Minimum one it will be there. And if you don't have UAT client separately, in some projects within the within the same customer only. Okay, you can see all these, like development gold client, test client, quality client, UAT client, and production for one country when it is go live. Some countries might be like suppose if they did it for all European countries like this, for US countries they have a development client and test client and only quality client. UAT they won't have separate box, and they will do the testing here only. There's nothing like that. See, in real time you can able to understand all these things once you get into the business actually for work. Okay, so this is all about your UAT client. Okay, you got it. What is UAT client? Okay, so now let me try to explain you. So once the user acceptance testing is done, so then build will be ready to move to the production client. Production means actual business system. Parley is going to live your account determination, or third party sales, whatever they are good. I'm just giving an example. Similar landscape, similar landscape will be there for your support also. Okay, support, what kind of projects we have? Like we have implementation project and a support project and a migration project. Okay, so like different projects will be there, that we are going to explain in one of the session. First you try to understand the landscape. Okay, so this is not mandatory. So UAT client, whatever user supposed to do the testing, sometimes he can able to do here, or else nowadays they're separating this without having any risk. And again, I have mentioned here training. Okay, for users training, suppose multiple countries are there, multiple solutions are there, customer might buy separate license to give the trainings, client copy, or else user can able to do the same thing in UAT client also. Or else customer don't want more budget, then he don't want UAT client and training client, and he can able to perform all these things in quality. Once development, unit testing, and quality, functional testing, your stress testing, whatever it is, their performance and everything will be done, and training also will be done, and the user also is going to test here, and everything is done directly, they can able to move to the production also. Okay, this client sometimes we'll call it as a pre-production client, or else some projects they do UAT, they will keep it as a separate client. For pre-production client, this they will before moving to the production, on safer side they will keep it in one separate box. Or else in some projects in UAT client they will call it as a pre-production client also. Before moving to the production, depends on how they are going to decide it. Okay, so that's why I mentioned here UAT client as a pre-production, or else UAT after that they are moving changes to again pre-production, from pre-production to here. Okay, now you understood the SAP landscape. What is the development client? If you are there in a support project, or else implementation project, or migration project, any project for that matters, any landscape you take, just try to understand, like, from where to where, you have to move your changes, development to quality, or else from quality to production landscape. So when you are getting KT from your project, you can able to understand this, all these things. Some people thinks that it's not a big deal. Of course, it's not a big deal if you don't know all these things also. Once you trained and you started working on the project, depends on the project, they will tell that what needs to be done, what is the process. Different methodologies will be there, different models will be there, depends on your project. It might be the methodology might be differs from your implementation, within the implementation to implementation, or also support to support, or else migration to migration, customer to customer also. They everyone have their own way of um, you know processes to set up a project actually. So now I explained everything. What is this sandbox? Sandbox is like, what you are practicing. Like, customer sandbox also will be there. Like at the time of training, you are taking, like, buying one system license, right? You are paying rent basis per month or 6 months or something like that. When you are doing practice through institution, that we will call it as a sandbox. Okay. Don't neglect the sandbox. Some projects, sandbox also very important. So if you in your project sandbox suddenly available, you don't, some people will show us once they join the project, if they have free time, they wanted to play with the sandbox. Never ever try to play with the project sandbox. Project sandbox means like they are going to use for RFPs, request for proposals, and before going into the development client, okay, they will try to do the pre-configuration in sandbox system. Okay, that means if anything happens also, no problem, development client they won't create. So your customer is so particular about, like, they don't want to allow any chances to go any mistakes or something like that. Sometimes any changes mode by default, generally it will not happen. Because of your changes, it might affect any one of these stages, especially in business system. That's why client don't want to take any chances. So that's why he says, like, if you wanted to implement SAP nodes or some code or some object experimentation before taking into the production client for business uses, they will say that, boss, try to do experimentation in sandbox. Sandbox, one way you can say that, before trying in development, like, suppose if you have some experience how account determination works, how intercompany sales work, you can try development directly. Or else first time you are working LIS, okay, or else first time you are working for some one new concept, then what you can do, some one new pricing conditions which actually there in standard, but you don't want to take any chances, you don't want to do in development, because transport request need to be created. There is that will be driven through your change request. I am going to explain those things in coming sessions. You try to understand this in landscape sandbox, you will try to experiment this, and you will try to move the things in subsequent systems. What is the common thing? Why I have marked with this different color, golden client in golden color? Because if you wanted to test your object means, like, maybe account determination, whatever the configuration you do at finance side or side or SD side or PP side or any other module for that matter, everything is here. So that's, it's a golden egg for your customer, for project actually. So from here, from development client to development test client, you'll copy and you will test it, unit testing. After that, you will do the FAT. Maybe you can call this one as the FAT, functional acceptance testing. This is called quality assurance testing, QA. You will do it, and after that UAT, and after that you'll move to the production. Anytime when you move, you can copy here, So through transport, you can move here quality only. When you want UAT from here again, golden client only, you will move to UAT. From golden client only, again you are copying into the production client. Any other box, any other dependency box, including pre-production, from this box only transport request will be moved. If someone is new to SAP, if they don't, I mean, if they are entering into the environment, so they don't have any idea about all these things. Okay. So this is all about your landscape. So it's not the end story. Product journey begins here. Why I'm saying this? Because if you understand this, it is easy for you to sustain in the project. If you don't understand, like if you understand now theoretically also, no problem. This knowledge definitely will help you and give an edge, like before getting into the any landscape, like project landscape, like support or migration or any further thing for that matters. Okay, this is all about SAP landscape. I think we're good to go. Okay, so I am a real-time SAP SD consultant and a trainer. If someone wanted to learn SAP like standard in detail, near real-time scenarios, like with good explanation, if you want it, it's always welcome. So like this, I'm going to upload different videos in my YouTube channel. You can always welcome and subscribe. So let me try to probably so this is my channel. Till now this is newly created, and this relevant what I would say is like you can able to get updates. I just suggest you guys, you can subscribe, so that till now somewhere around 86 or 85 videos available now. Okay, so if you are not yet introduced to ERP, okay, you can able to view this video, what is ERP and why SAP is so popular. This is one of the video I just have published it. In the similar way, I have other set of videos available. Okay, you can able to go through it, and if you press the bell icon, like you will get the notifications. Okay, and if you're really interested, or else if you already trained, okay, what I would suggest, I'll just try to go through. This is my profile in Udemy. Apart from YouTube, you can able to see I'm having this is my brief about that, my experience SAP SD and S4 HANA. So what are all the best courses available? Like if you can see SAP sales and distribution in simple English, it is going to cover 95% of your SAP SD. And like here you can able to find 113 lectures with 53 total hours. This course you can able to subscribe it. I'll just give the links what are the courses I have. And this is one of the popular course I have, SAP SD complete pricing concepts. Like if someone having it, this is total 8 hours with 16 lectures. So someone is having doubts about this, they can able to join it. it's always advisable, don't go and try to buy the videos from which he is not a real-time practitioner. Okay, people spending a lot of money and they're not getting in-depth details. Okay, real-time consultants can guide you, but not every real-time consultant, I can say it's a good consultant. Whoever get the job is always luck actually. Okay, that is a different story. You try to see this SAP HANA sales and distribution processing configuration. So business processes explained here, and there is one concept on S4 HANA FSCM. This is your credit management. Now it is moved to finance, and I have explored and I have done a course. If you want, you can go through this one also. And SD level, we have business process from your OTC to like your stock transfer orders, everything got explained here. This is almost 33 lectures or there, 17.5 hours. And this is for again S4 HANA business partners. If someone is beginner, they can go through this course, and or also they can able to get into the YouTube for this brief. And if someone having rebates, they can go through this course. If someone is specifically looking for intercompany sales and stock transfers, this is the right place. They can subscribe this course. I'm putting the link, all these links. And in S4 HANA, how intercompany sales and consignment sales works, I have done one course. Like if someone having doubt, SAP credit or risk management, they can do it. And I have one more free course for third-party sales. They can go through it. And this is for end users. I think consultants not required, these two courses. So this is all about my SAP journey till now. I'm having 85 reviews and around 1300 students. I'm functional architect. So if someone wants, they can subscribe all these courses at cheaper rates. Okay. Sometimes in Udemy price is high, like 5,000, 6,000 or 8,000. If they can ping me, if they want a certain course, so with 1 month validity, I can raise a coupon. Okay. So that's all about. I think you are good to go with SAP landscape. So maybe let's try to catch up with another good session. Okay. So that's it. Thank you. Thanks for joining the session. I wish you all the best.